Hello to all YouTubers and welcome back to another educational video by NewYorkSteelo. And as mentioned in the previous video of day number 5 of this 90-gallon build process, I mentioned that I was going to show you guys how to properly shim a aquarium. It could be a freshwater, marine aquarium, doesn't really matter. It is very important for you to make sure that your system is leveled. If not, many different problems can arise, and we're going to get into that a little later. And I'm also going to discuss different ways that you can discover whether your aquarium is leveled or not before you even fill up the system with some water. You know, we're going to talk about that. But before I do that, let me just quickly open these reef doors here and show you guys that today's day number 6. And yesterday, as soon as I picked up the piece of plywood here, I immediately painted it, and within 6 hours it was actually quite dry. And as you can see, the entire back of this stand is completely sealed, and I'm happy about that. Not to mention the fact that I siliconed all of the edges around the entire inside of the stand. Very important for me, considering that I put this quarter piece of plywood back here, and if there is a water spill in the future, God forbid, but if there is, I did not want water to be seeping in between the new piece of plywood and the old one. You know, so I've gone ahead and siliconed all of the edges around the entire inside, made sure that it's waterproof. I've also sealed it with a protective sealant used for patio doors. And I think, you know, I don't think that there's anything else I can do to make it any more safer. And so also here on the top is the gap, which extends all the way across. Really should be able to help me out in case I want to extend some electrical wiring through the back and some tubing to hook up the chiller and whatnot. Very important. And hopefully the most important reason why I did this is for the noise factor. Now, we spent a lot of time here in the living room, and my sump refugium is very quiet, but with a sealed back, it'll be even more quiet. So we're going to move on to the shims here. And I'm actually ready. As soon as I finish shimming the aquarium here, you know, I'm ready to add the water. And that's exactly what I'm doing here, collecting some water from the RODI unit. But, you know, when it comes to shimming the aquarium, man, this is rather simple to do. Very easy to do. Now, I mentioned when on day number 5 that these are the shims that I highly recommend you guys to get. Now, these here, when you walk into Home Depot, you ask for composite shims, and you should get these. They sort of resemble sort of like a plasticky type of shim, but it is actually made of wood, and it's quite water resistant. They're very easy to use. Now here, I've gone ahead and I've shimmed the aquarium. So, you know, and I'm going to show you some ins and outs here. But question here is, how do you know if your aquarium is leveled or not before you even fill it up with water? And of course, we can go ahead and use a leveler here. Now, this thing here is very inexpensive. I paid 20 bucks for it on Home Depot, I believe. This thing is really old. It's like 10 years old. But as you can see here, the leveler here is quite leveled, but that's only because I added the shims. If without the shims, it would have looked like this. The ball in the center would have looked something like this, which is not too bad. It would have looked like this. It's not too bad, but right there, it's dead in the center. And that's exactly what I wanted to. And there is some leeway here when you have such, you know, little amounts of leveling to do. You can get away with it, and it won't cause much of a stress. But it is important that when you test it with the leveler, not only do it on the left side, but also you want to do it in the middle of the tank. And let's take this here quickly and just move it over to this side and show you guys with a quick zoom that even in the center of it, it is quite in the center, is dead level, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. Near perfection. and very easy to do, guys. So you know, doing it in the center here and also on the left side. Now, very important, make sure that you level the aquarium from side to side here, on the left side, on the middle, and as you can see here, it's dead in the center. But what happens if for whatever reason you just you know, you can't afford a leveler, and you want to find out whether or not you know, you can find out whether this system is actually unleveled before you even fill it up with water. Very simple to do, guys. As you can see here below is the trim of the overall aquarium. We're going to zoom in here, and this is actually a very it's very accurate to use. You know, all you need to do is just fill it up with some water, maybe a half of an inch above that trim here, and it should give you an indication of how leveled your aquarium is. And as you can see here, it's actually quite leveled. So once you find out whether or not it's leveled or not, we move on to the shims here. Now, the shims are so easy to use, guys. Remember to get the composite ones, but it depends on where do you want to start out. Basically, you want to start out in the edges, such as you see here. But it really depends on where you're trying to achieve the leveling here. If your aquarium is unleveled on the left side of the aquarium, not necessarily on the front, you definitely want to start on the corners of the left side. And what you do is you take your the shims here, and you sort of lift up the stand itself and just sort of slide this in there, and then you go ahead and use a hammer or any other piece of tool that can actually help you tap it, and you slowly tap it in there. And as you tap it in there, you continuously make sure that you check the leveler or the water level for that matter. And the more that you tap it, the more that you will reach that certain level. Now, do keep in mind that if you touch one side, the other side is going to be affected as well. In this case, my condition here was the entire front of the stand here. Now that I found the perfect level here, there's a problem here. Now, what happens is that, considering that the shim here on the left and right are already lifting the stand in the corners, it is actually also lifting the stand in the center. And we're going to move in closer here. And if I were to just take this random piece here, it'll be quite easy for me to slide it in there. You see that? See, I would not be able to do that if it did not have these pieces here. And so that's the reason why I've purchased myself several you know, packs here. Each one brings 12, very inexpensive. Each pack of 12 is like $1.37 at Home Depot. But as you can see here, now that I've got it in the proper place, all you have to do to finish the leveling is just grab this outside piece that is sticking outside of the stand and just pick it up and snap it upwards, and it'll cut the shim and leave the inside of it and allow the aquarium to stay leveled. And then once you do the other side, you continue to take the shims and you fill in the gaps in the center and everywhere else, just to make sure that you evenly distribute the weight of the aquarium as if it was never lifted 2 to 3 centimeters off the floor. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and found it quite informational. Make sure you guys definitely level your aquariums. Very important. You know, there is some leeway here, as I stated before. You know, you can get away with, especially with glass, a little bit of unleveling, but it's better to be safe than sorry. And it takes you a few minutes to do this. So hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for future updates on this 90-gallon build process. Certainly coming up soon. More videos to come. NewYorkSteelo signing out. Peace.